Hey team, it's the spooky season, and of course Movie Marks couldn't not bring some of their favorites. So join me this week as we discuss a film that asks, what's gotten into you? No, not that film. No, not that one either. We're talking 2006 Slither. So let's slug it out. With me, as always, my co-host, my best friend, Randy Kirk.
Hey, Marks. I like the slug it out, Uncle Do. Yeah.
I pulled
Nice.
it. I pulled it straight from their little taglines. I was like, what were the taglines?
That's a fun one. I like that.
So was what's gotten into you?
Oh, yeah. And it's a perfect tagline. Yeah.
So this is 2006 Slither, like I said at the beginning. Happy spooky season, happy Halloween, bud.
Oh, happy spooky season. It's great, dude. And the weather, yeah, it's starting to cool off a little bit. Finally feeling a little bit like fall. But I am really happy that you brought Slither. And I'll be damned, I cannot believe this movie is almost 20 years old.
Yeah, it's we had talked prior when we were making the sausage earlier.
Yeah.
When we were getting everything mixed up, we said, well, let's do spooky season because that's what we do. What movies do you want to bring? And we were like, in other iterations we brought older movies and we could have gone with an older movie. And I was thinking about it hard, and I was like, when was the last time I saw Slither? And I'm pretty sure when I bought the physical copy, way back when the DVD came out, but before that, it was when it came out, and I'm pretty sure I saw it with you.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And so it's been 18 years since you saw it last?
Yeah, so it's been quite a minute.
Assuming that the DVD came out in 06 also. Might have been 07, but...
Yeah, so it's been quite some time, and so I snatched it right up because I'm not going to bury any leads. I absolutely fell in love with this movie when we were sitting in that theater going, this is...
I mean, I don't care if, you like horror or not. It's fun.
Right.
It's campy fun. It's gross out. So if you don't like the gross, slimy, gory stuff, I don't know, you might be a little squeamish, but...
I couldn't find the synopsis for Slither.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if you have it. You're usually the synopsis guy.
The synopsis for Slither is a small town is taken over by an alien plague, turning residents into zombies and all forms of mutant monsters.
See, I think that jumps straight into it too quickly. I want a little bit. It's like a bad trailer. I want a little bit of razzle dazzle before.
Yeah.
You don't tell me what the movie is about immediately.
It does give away with not a lot to say.
Right. So I kind of wanted to surprise you with what I was going to bring as well, because
I was surprised with Slither for sure.
I'm an old fuddy-duddy when it comes to scary movies.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. I'm a Universal Monsters. I'm a creature feature. Them blob sort of situation. I like.
You go 88 blob or you go 56 blob?
56 blob.
Okay.
Because it's campier and a lot more ridiculous and like...
Yeah. I mean, I do dig the Chuck Russell blob.
Yeah.
But the 56 blob is pretty amazing also.
Well, and it's got a great theme song too. Have you ever heard the blob?
I have, yeah.
Beware of the blob. It creeps and creeps.
They don't do those anymore.
No, no.
I miss the old, they just used to make songs for movies.
Right.
And I mean just cheesy ones, not one I'm not talking like Blaze of Glory for Young Guns 2 or something like that. I'm talking just specifically for the movie. It's not going to be marketed. It's not going to be on the radio.
Right.
It's just for the movie.
Right.
And to me, I don't think there's enough of that these days.
So like I said, I wanted to surprise you with what I brought. I wanted a little bit new. You said at the beginning it's nearly 25 years old or 20 years old.
Oh, dude, I cannot believe that.
But I wanted to go to us a little bit newer, and because I wanted to surprise you with that. Not burying anything, I absolutely fell in love with this movie when we went and saw it. I fell in love with the movie when I brought it home on DVD, which I'm kind of sad. I went to go dig for my physical copy, and I couldn't find it anywhere. It's probably in my stack of poor DVDs. Everything's streaming now.
I know.
Because there's a lot of special features on the physical copy that I'm absolutely in love with, like
There were a couple good things on there.
We talked about the commentary track previously.
I didn't listen to that, but I did get through a couple of the other things. There's like a 20-minute documentary, kind of like a sit-down thing with James Gunn.
Yeah.
And it's just, ripe with like his perspective and thoughts, and it's a fun watch. And then a couple of things, just kind of like behind the scenes with Fillion, and also a gag reel. And the gag reel is kind of fun. It's not anything to write home about, but it's like, hey, they're making a campy, ridiculous movie. There's got to be some fun gags.
So as you said, this is directed and written by James Gunn, of now Suicide Squad and Guardians fame. This was his very first directed movie, not his first written movie. That would have been Scooby-Doo, and he did some short films and whatnot before this. What better to do than an homage to some of his mentors? Like he worked for Lloyd Kaufman.
Which he talked a little bit about that in the behind, and it's like, dude, how cool is that? He kind of like, he got to cut his teeth with working with people like Lloyd Kaufman and the Trauma team, and he said that definitely benefited him going into a movie like this, where working with Trauma, he learned a lot about the practical effects, which there's a lot of in this movie. Yeah, there's a lot of CGI too, but they still rely on the practical stuff.
Well, that. To me, like him working with somebody like Lloyd Kaufman, because Lloyd Kaufman, say what you will about Lloyd Kaufman, he makes schlocky movies, but the man knows how to make a movie under budget.
Yeah.
He knows how to crank them out. People go and see his movies. People revere his movies. It's almost like I attribute it in the same way that some of these grand directors, like we say the great directors were, when they worked with Corman, because Corman was the same way as Kaufman. Now, probably I would put them in the same league, but I don't think a lot of people do. Kaufman and Corman, to me, are almost one and the same.
Sure.
Because Corman did the same thing. He was on budget, worked with a lot of great up-and-coming talent. Mm-hmm. Jim Cameron, Marty Scorsese,
Jack Nicholson,
like all coming up. And that's the same thing with Lloyd Kaufman, who, fun fact with Uncle Do, he makes a cameo in the film. He's sitting in the police station right away there.
He's hard to miss.
But I attribute, some of these directors who go and work with they cut their teeth on learning how to be good filmmakers before they take these leaps and bounds to be even greater. Dude. And that says a lot.
I love, the older that you get, I think this is probably true for a lot of the guys that, kind of grew up on Trauma. But the older that you get, the less you watch of Trauma.
Sure.
And it's, they are made for teenage males, right? So, of course, when I was growing up, it was, the Toxic Avenger, Tromeo and Juliet, and Class of Nukem High. And dude, these are not great movies, but damn, are they fun.
Well, speaking of, Toxie, the Toxie remake has been done and in a can for
Where the hell is that thing?
Yeah. And everybody's like, we want that Toxic Avenger with Peter Dink. And
you've got Kevin Bacon and Dinklage attached to it.
Yeah.
So you've got some star power.
Right.
That, it's just sitting in the can. Come on.
Where's that movie?
Yeah. I love Toxie, man.
So let's keep going with James Gunn here.
Before you get into James, I just want to crack.
Oh yeah,
quick.
we got
a little thirsty here.
Crack it in. What are you drinking?
For this one, it's called Roost. It's a collab with. It's a Hop Butcher collaboration with Half Acre, and this one is an extra pale ale.
I, too, am drinking that same beer. Isn't that funny? Yep, funny. Back on the beer, by the way.
Oh, man. Yeah, this one it's pretty good. It's a little light, so you might enjoy it.
Ooh.
But, yeah, it's pretty smooth. It's a very drinkable beer.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
But, yeah, I grew up on Trauma, and you could definitely see some of the influences, with James Gunn's work here. It's a lot of fun. And it also clearly borrows from... Night of the Creeps or The Blob or Cronenberg's Shivers.
Mm-hmm.
Because those were kind of on display in this movie for sure.
Well, I have a long list of everything. So that's why I fell in love with this movie as well, is because it paid an homage to a lot of those films.
Yeah.
The not so bloody gory, but the not so hardcore stuff that we see, from those 2000s. But it pays homage to, we see the bathtub scene like Nightmare and...
Yeah, it's like it's shot for shot there for a second.
The noise that the alien makes is from Predator.
Yeah.
Like you said, The Blob, Tremors, Dead Alive.
For the mayor, the R.J. McCready.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's clearly, just ripping it off. But his name is Jack McCready. But the store, the R.J. McCready. And so Jack, it could be Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China.
He wanted to go, I feel James Gunn went, I know, I'm like you guys. I love schlocky horror, and I'm making schlocky horror, and I want you to enjoy my version of schlocky horror with me.
Hell yeah.
And so here are the greats that I want to like homage. And so I think that's what ingratiated myself to it.
Yeah.
It made me fall in love with it altogether. So let's start out with, maybe we'll get into the cast. Do you want to?
Perfect segue, yeah, because with Nathan Fillion, so I am not familiar with him really at all outside of this movie. I did see something else that he was in, but I never watched Firefly, Serenity, The Rookie, Castle.
Yeah.
I never watched any of it.
So I'm a big damn fan. As
he was in Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place back in the day,
right?
And so I do remember him from that.
Yeah.
We watched it when it was brand new back in the day, when it was still on the air, and man, that show was fun. And then of course Ryan Reynolds becomes Ryan Reynolds,
right? And
with Nathan Fillion, he had a pretty good career of his own, just one that I never really followed.
Yeah.
Because he's a Joss Whedon guy, right?
Yeah, he's a James Gunn and Joss Whedon sort of guy.
Oh sure, yeah. Because he was in the Guardians, right?
He's in Guardians. He's in Suicide Squad. He's going to be in the new Superman. Like he's signed on board with this guy. Like,
Yeah.
Which
is cool. I love a troop. But anyway, with Fillion, I will say, even though I'm not very familiar with him, man, he's awesome.
Well, when James Gunn and him were making the film, and Fillion was like, "All right, I think I know how to act this," and Gunn went, "I want to make a fun movie, not a funny movie. Mm-hmm. This movie happens to be funny, but this movie's going to be fun." And when Fillion heard that, he immediately goes, "Okay, I know immediately how to play it."
Yeah.
And I think he does. He's not the typical horror hero.
Yeah.
He's the everyman, sheriff who's going to be walking into those situations going, what the fuck is actually happening here?
And, I mean, those are great notes because, when you watch this, you're not watching a comedy, but you know that it's not straight up horror.
Right.
So it's just fun and funny, and it's just kind of like, it's situationally funny.
Yeah.
It's obviously not, because there's a couple scenes in there where, Rooker, he hears air supply when he first gets infected.
Yeah.
And he hears air supply, and he goes to see Starla in the living room, and just the way that he's looking, and he walks through the plant.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is funny. Like, it's not supposed to be like Austin Powers comedy, but damn it, is this stupid fun.
Oh, and I'm glad you brought him up, but Rooker, like, what better actor to bring on as your first villain ever? Because he's nuanced in that. He's been the villain in so many things prior. And so if anybody's going to see your vision through, Rooker's definitely got. I mean, like Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. This guy knows how to be a fucking creep.
Oh, for sure. And I like the little nod, whether it was intentional or not. I don't think it was, but he went back to bald like he was in Mallrats.
Yeah,
and it was like, it's perfect for his creepy character.
You know me. I like portmanteau and funny names and stuff. We talk about how Sly Stallone is one of the best character naming writers in the history of character naming writers, but
he's brilliant at it.
But James Gunn and naming Rooker Grant has to be I I laugh so hard every time.
I like that little joke with Brenda when they're in the woods.
Yeah.
And he says BM, like a big pile of shit or something, whatever he says.
Yeah, it's like a bowel movement.
And then she makes a joke about Grant. And you're like, yeah, you can't come back from that.
But like, yeah, Grant, like, oh, did you see the bad guy? Yeah, Grant. Like, no. Is there a couple of Grants?
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
dude, all right, I guess, yeah, character. So, Elizabeth Banks, I'm sure you read about this too, but I think with James Gunn, he made great casting choices just all around.
Oh, yeah.
But he specifically chose her because she had sort of like that golden age of Hollywood kind of look, like a Hitchcock like kind of actress, which when you think about it, it works.
She's very Tippi Hedren in this, like she's very reactionary. She's very naive throughout the whole process.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, he kind of makes her a badass, right? She's surviving all of this thing. Same thing with the birds, right? Like here's this blonde bombshell who's going through all of this.
Yeah.
And she's just, by sheer guts and glory, just surviving every fucking encounter. And that to me is ballsy fucking horror cinema.
It really is. Yeah, but she's fun and she's charming as hell.
Right.
Pretty much in anything that she's in, she's very charming. She's a very likable character. And you're pulling for her.
Yeah.
Because I think at the beginning where Fillion, he gives us her little backstory.
Yeah.
About why she ended up with Grant in the first place, which also is that beautiful joke about Gina, and then it's where Chinese people come from.
It's where Chinese people come from.
But
you need to learn how to eavesdrop better. He kicks the kid.
I mean, that's obviously funny, but also perfect delivery on his part.
Oh, absolutely.
But given that little backstory, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I guess I can understand why she's with Grant now.
Yeah.
And you're realizing that she's probably kind of in a rut and whatever. But so it just makes her relatable, likable, and she's charming to boot. So, I really like the casting choices there all around. Speaking
of director cameo right there in the beginning, where the teachers are talking together, that's our boy James Gunn.
Yeah.
Which it threw me off because all I know James Gunn now is like this white-haired, mustachio and goateed fella who's like the savior of comic books right now, and and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when he was a dorky edgelord from way back when.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I like James Gunn a lot. I know you do too. But he keeps good company. Yeah. Because even though they're not married anymore, he and Jenna Fisher, were married. And then also he and Rob Zombie are good buddies. And Zombie makes a little voice cameo here. He's the doctor on the phone. But I just think that that's so cool that he was married to Jenna Fisher. He was good buddies with Rob Zombie.
Threw me off. I completely forgot that he was married to Jenna Fisher. And I guess she's in it for what, maybe 3 minutes?
Total, yeah.
But she's the one who did the press corps because of The Office, got popular when this was coming out at the same time, and she was the only known actor. Well, besides Rooker, but who's putting Rooker on late night?
And pre-Walking Dead, I mean, Rooker was not an A-lister for sure. I mean, even now he's a B+ lister, I guess. But yeah, but dude, Jenna, and I love that she has that sense of humor where she could just not take it seriously and I'll go do press for Slither.
Well, she was so excited to be a zombie because she loves the zombie genre too. Fun fact with Uncle Do. Yeah. And so originally the actor who was supposed to be in that role fell out, and he was like, "You want to do it?" And she's like, "Absolutely." She got so excited he gave it to her as a present. Yeah, that's fun. And so she was super pumped to be a zombie.
And she was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it a lot. So with talking, any more about the cast?
Well, just the ensemble, the yokels, this just gave this perfect small town life.
It really did.
Even
everybody's got a little drawl, right? You don't know exactly where they're at. I don't think
I forgot what the mayor's name is.
Yeah, dude,
but he's been in a shit ton of stuff, and he's fantastic as well.
He's got some great one-liners.
Yeah,
I'll be damned.
And he comes from a long line of shithead mayors too.
Yeah,
like it gives a little bit of nod to the mayor of Amity in Jaws, like like here's this guy.
I never thought that until just now.
Yeah,
and now I won't forget it. Damn, good. That's a great ass point.
The mayor in Amity is one of my favorite villains. Like he just really is. Like you don't really think of it.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh fuck, the town's tourism is gonna get fucked over if we have to shut down everything. You know, like
Amity needs that money, man.
Right. And it's the same thing. It's like, what about the deer dance? I think it's called something else.
No,
but...
deer cheer.
The deer cheer, yeah.
Deer cheer. But still, yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. They need that deer cheer.
Right. But like, you're right though. He had a couple of good one-liners.
You know, because he's so not likable. And both I think the actor and the character.
Mr. Pibb's the only
cola the only Coke.
The only Coke I like.
The only Coke I like.
Yeah.
Which we, being Midwestern folks, you know, that's not something that resonates with us.
No, that's a Southern thing.
Everything, if you order a Sprite in the South, it's, I'll have a Coke. You know, it's like...
Give me the Coke Sprite.
Coke Sprite. Yeah. Yes. And yeah, don't get that at all. Speaking of that, are you a pop guy, a cola guy, a soda guy?
Good question. Not generally anymore because I was off the caffeine.
Well, no, but I'm saying, how do you refer to it?
Oh, soda.
You say soda.
Can I get a soda? Yeah.
It's interchangeable for me between pop and soda.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's soda pop.
Right. I think it's where we're raised because you have that Appalachia region in your blood as well, and so when you went and visited, it's that soda pop. Let me get one of those. But
my wife Tiffany still will bust my balls relentlessly because I was raised to call shopping carts buggies.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a buggy.
Yeah.
It will always be. It feels uncomfortable to call.
You are the reason I call it a buggy as well.
You don't call it a shopping cart. It feels uncomfortable to me. If I say, "Oh, can I grab that cart?" Like it just doesn't feel right. That's a buggy. You know.
Because we've been friends for 25 years, I'll walk in and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go grab a buggy.
Yeah, it's a buggy. And she also makes fun of the meat, like, again, relentlessly, because where do you put the buggy when you're done with it? In the parking lot.
Right.
It's called a corral.
The corral.
And
yeah.
She's like, what do you call that thing? It's the place where you put the buggies.
Yeah, you put.
And I'm like, no, it's a buggy corral.
Yeah, you put the buggy back in the corral. Like, I'm with you 100%.
She hates it. But anyway,
she goes, can I get a cold pop? She is a cold pop person as well.
Yeah, and regardless of if it's room temperature or cold, she'll still say cold pop. Yeah.
My brother gives me shit for calling it a soda. What's a fucking soda? You know, like.
Ty is a pop guy?
He's a pop guy, yeah.
Yeah, I say pop.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a pop or I'm going to get a soda.
Yeah.
I never say cola.
No. Mm-mm.
Even though I know that the cola is the dark.
Yeah.
You know,
Let me get a root beer cola.
Root beer cola. Ooh, I like a root beer.
That's that same like, I can't believe I told your secretary to put the bib in the... It's the only soda pop I like.
Dude.
The Coke I like.
Because honestly, I think pop soda, Dr. Pepper is probably my number one.
Yeah.
Damn it, I love it. And it's been 15 years probably since I've had a Mr. Pibb.
Okay.
Ooh, maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
But I wonder how it holds up.
See, I am... not to get too personal, but for health reasons, there's certain things within the caramel coloring and the dark sodas that causes issues with your kidneys.
Ooh, yeah, dude, they're gonna be finding some shit in the next 10 years for sure. Because didn't they just outlaw Red No. 5 or something like that?
Yeah, there's in
California.
Mm-hmm. There's some red dyes that they don't with California.
Yeah, there's gonna be.
But believe me, there's some soda pops. There's some soda pops that have that Red No. 5 that I'm super a fan of.
I mean, back in the day, it was just some fizzy water and some cocaine.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's red dye No. 5 and yellow No. 7. And
yeah.
We're gonna be finding all sorts of shit.
I'm towards the citrus now, so I didn't drink Sierra Mist when it was Sierra Mist.
Ooh, I loved it.
Oh,
you like the Starry.
I was a Sprite, but now I'm a Starry guy.
Yeah.
I'm a Starry because there's something about it that's a little bit more limey
Dude, Sierra Mist was my jam. We at the movie theater, we were, and you could just go up and get
a Pepsi branded.
Whatever the hell you wanted. It was self-serve.
Yeah.
Which I mostly drank water, but every once in a while I would just hit it with a little Sierra Mist. And, ooh, it was good.
Yeah.
I do miss a Sierra Mist.
Only time I had a Pepsi was and it was always cherry Pepsi, was when we were working at the theater.
Damn, cherry Pepsi was good.
Yeah.
Although nothing hit like a cherry Coke from back in the day. Those cans circa 1995.
With the black and the red?
With the big cherries on them.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Yeah, that was the coolest shit. And that was when I used to get those when we would go to the Walmart.
Okay.
And they were 25 cents a can.
Yep.
And they had the, what was the Walmart brand?
Sam's Choice?
Sam's Choice.
Yeah.
And it was, you had the Dr. Thunder.
Yeah.
Or the, what was
Mountain Lightning?
Which makes no sense. This tastes just like lightning.
Gives me a zip.
That's dumb.
66.
Oh, shit. Anyway.
That's a callback.
But I know we got way, way, way down a rabbit hole here, trying to crawl back out. But yeah, the Southern drawls, I don't know if do they ever say where they're from in this movie?
No.
Which I also love.
Yeah.
Unless you're really trying to put your mark on something, and like a John Hughes, like, hey, it's from, Winnetka or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's kind of fun to not know where the movie's based.
Everywhere USA.
But yeah, everybody's got a little Southern drawl, so they're, it's a little bit more charming.
It's that small town vibe. But the small town cast, the ensemble cast that the deputies.
Yeah.
The female deputy is pretty funny to me. Like, even when they're doing the crossing guard thing.
Yeah. Holy
shit. I forgot. It's not... Starla's the main girl. I forgot what her name is.
Brenda?
No.
Brenda's
the cop. Yeah.
Brenda's
the
mother.
The poor mother,
The mother of the slugs.
Yeah. Slug mother.
The worms. Slug mother. I forget the crossing guard's mom, or crossing guard's name.
But she's full on deputy, but she has a couple of good ones too. And then
she does.
Wally's pretty solid.
He's a wonderful character.
But like all of it just gives off just what you wanted in a creature feature film. Like you could name off 3 out of the 12 or so actors in Tremors, right? It's the same thing with
Reba McEntire.
Well, I forgot about Reba. So 5. You can name off 5 of the 17 actors in Tremors.
Yeah.
It's the same way with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what gives this that sort of grace, and that because he's allowing his ensemble to flourish and to grow, and just he makes you get to that place of like nostalgia for like.
Dude, you're so
movies.
right.
Yeah,
there's a lot of freedom here.
Yeah.
But speaking of freedom, going into like the special effects, which dude, they literally just, it's like carte blanche. Like they just like go with it. Whatever, the most ridiculous special effect thing, it just seemed like they went with. And Rooker's transformation is disgusting.
It is grotesque. It is fantastic.
It really is, man.
It's everything I've ever wanted in a sort of just gross out sort of film.
Whether it's practical or CGI, it just looks grody. Oh man, is it fun? It makes you feel exactly how you're supposed to.
I'm looking for the octopus man. Like
And then Brenda's explosion.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously you don't know because that scene where Grant is slithering through the cornfields.
Yeah.
That's all practical. There's nothing CGI
Holy
about
shit.
that. Yeah. So they ended up doing that practically. But when he's going into the big barn and then they see Brenda, and you don't know what you're about to see, and for some reason you see this big puffed up version.
Well, and props to her, because that was practical as well. And she had claustrophobia, and she had to be in this big rubber suit.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know she was claustrophobic, but holy shit.
Yeah, and she had an aversion to meat, and so here's all this meat and this giant suit that she essentially just laid in for her scenes as Big Brenda. And
it's an easy day at work, right?
Yeah. Like, what a fantastic, like, that is what you would imagine like a space alien incubator looking like.
Yeah.
Like, and it's right on the nose. It's right on the nose.
Dude, you're so right. So speaking of the transformation stuff and where Rooker's slithering through the cornfield, there's a line that I still to this day don't understand. I didn't get it then. I don't get it now. But it's funny. It's he looks like something that fell off my dick during the war. I'm not exactly sure what that means.
I wrote that one down too.
I mean, it gives you some sort of a mental picture, but right. I don't get it. And why would it fall off? I don't know. It's a funny line.
That's the Wally guy, too.
I'll run with it, yeah.
Or, no, that's the older guy.
It's the old guy.
Yeah, oh.
And which war? Is this the Korean War?
Right.
I mean, he's old enough to maybe have possibly seen Normandy. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Let's see, what else? So, the practical effects. And even the digital effects, like, they still fucking hold up.
Dude, they do.
Like, because there's some things made out in the 2000s that you're watching and you go, ooh, yeah, that was in the infancy of digital effects. That is some rough Ranger shit right there. But even this, you're like, oh, that's squirmy wormy. Like, you want to lift your feet up off from the floor.
There's when Grant is in the living room in the house, mm-hmm. and his body is so big now that it's literally like protruding out of the house. And you see the people that are coming up, and they're laying on him to be absorbed. And it's like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
And it's really well done.
Yeah.
Because there's there's the chubby guy that like takes off the bathrobe.
Right.
And he like lays on him.
Yeah.
And just gets literally absorbed. And man, is that nasty.
Oh,
and
yeah.
even to this day, it's like, it holds up.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years later.
Fun fact with Uncle Do, James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, who also stars in most of his movies with him, a la the Raimis. Mm-hmm. Although I do have to say, I like Sean Gunn over the Raimi brother.
Ted or Ivan?
Ted.
I love Ted, man.
But Sean Gunn has a pacing and a comedic timing that is unrivaled. He played Kirk in Gilmore Girls, and he plays
Gilmore Girls. There it is.
He plays.
Let it be known, it's because it's Gilmore Girls.
Not just that. He plays. He plays the second in command in Guardians. To Rooker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's his brother Sean Gunn. He also was the practical Rocket, like when they had to do the mocap.
Oh, okay.
The motion capture for Rocket, he did the physicality for that. And so...
That's so fun. I'm way more of a Raimi guy than a Gunn guy, but still. But in just seeing at Flashback HorrorCon in August, I literally got to stand there and just like be in the presence of Sam and Ted Raimi.
Yeah.
Ivan was there too, but it was just like...
Well, of course, he you know.
Right. Yeah. It's a payday.
Right.
So, but hey, it was still fun. But I did not know that about Sean Gunn.
Yeah. So that's a little fun fact. Let's see. Did we talk about the writing? Yeah.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about the writing, which is perfect.
Yeah.
You know, it's not anywhere like above or below where it needs to be.
Well, and it's the perfect time, right? It's 90 minutes. I think the only thing that didn't hit the mark for me, and James Gunn will also go to the mat with this as well, that fucking deer fighting scene.
Well, that has a wonderful line, because when he goes into the police station to get the grenade, and he sees the infected deer, and he just looks at it and says, fuck me. Like, dude, that's exactly how I would react.
Right.
Because you've seen humans infected.
Right.
You've yet to see an animal infected. And so you see this deer munching on, I think it's a human.
Right.
And you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm about to get into.
But, like, he's very vocal about, oh, I wish that scene wasn't in there. He could have made it another human.
I like that it's
a deer. But
it's
so silly and so ridiculous. That's the only thing that doesn't hit the line is fantastic.
Yeah.
But the silliness of it.
I'm so glad that it was an animal.
Yeah.
See, for you it's a miss. For me, it's a hit.
Okay.
I like it because clearly these little slugs, worms, like they would be infecting
everything,
any orifice, right? You know, that they could infect, and a deer is ripe. You know, it's like it's right there, and you know, I like that it was a deer.
Is there anything in this film that missed the mark for you?
No.
And
that would make it a 10 out of a 10, right?
Yeah.
You know, but to me, it's probably an 8 out of 10.
I would totally agree with you.
But it's not. There's not anything necessarily that misses the mark. It's just, I don't know.
It's not completely perfect, but it is perfect for what it is.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Perfect for what it is.
Yeah.
So as a B horror movie.
Yeah.
Maybe C.
Yeah.
But a B- horror movie, it's a 10 out of a 10. As a movie as a whole, 8 out of a 10.
Well, because it's one of those. It's very graphic, right? So there's less of a chance you're going to see it on like a Fright Fest or whatever, the Horror Fest or whatnot, unless it's a later showing.
True.
It's kind of sad because I think it should be shown with some of those other things just because of how great it is for what it is.
My hope is that all the James Gunn fans now, because of Guardians, because of Suicide Squad, like, I hope that they get to go back and discover, like, Slither. Yeah. And be like, you know, because geeks like us, if we find Scorsese or Tarantino, we're going to go back. Yeah. And we're going to revisit their whole catalog. Yeah. And so I hope that people go back and watch Slither and they appreciate where James Gunn came from. Yeah. Because he really did a great job.
100% agree. 100% agree. So anything else?
No, I think that was pretty much it. I think it's just well done. Yeah. And it was campy for campy's sake. Yeah. And it didn't take itself too seriously. It didn't need to. I think we should have more of these movies now. Yeah. And we don't. But
unfortunately, it didn't make its money back. They made it for 35 and they only made, I think, 17 back, which kind of sucks.
Luckily, somebody still had faith in James Gunn. Right. And they allowed him to go run and make Guardians. And he's now, I don't even know how much he's worth. But
I mean, they pretty much booted out everybody from DC and put him as the new... like the Ari Aster.
Well, also
of DC.
If I don't think I'm misremembering. Didn't he get into hot water? Like 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah. So they took him off of Guardians 2. Yeah. Because of some postings and some edgy sort of comments he made back when this movie was being made and whatnot.
What were the edgy comments?
It was sort of towards like misogyny and just shit you say when you're younger. And it was nothing too fault line. And he went on and apologized. He goes, listen, I said those things to be a shithead. I said those things to get a reaction out of people. Yeah. I'm sorry that they came to light before, but that's not who I am now, and so on and so forth. Essentially, DC didn't care about that, and so they signed him up for Suicide Squad. But Disney, as we know, has been very, very quick to cut any sort of controversy out as soon as they possibly could. Yeah. It was to the cast's great approval that they said, well, we're not going to work with a different director unless you bring him back. And so, you know, the cast of Guardians of Galaxy essentially saved James Gunn's career and kind of uplifted him into this sort of new stratosphere. So,
well, I'm happy about that because I don't know him on a personal level, but he seems like a good guy. Yeah, and he's clearly a capable guy. So I'm glad that he's had the career that he's had.
In the last 10 years, he's had, you know, billions worth of movies, for fuck's sake. Right. You know, that says a lot.
And the fanboys like us, they praise him for his work. Yeah. So, hey, cheers to James Gunn.
Yeah, cheers to James Gunn.
But yeah, I really am so happy that you brought this because this was completely unexpected. Yeah. I had no idea that old Uncle Dew would bring Slither for a Halloween podcast.
Hey, listen, I love a fun, campy thing for the sake of, like, fun and camp.
Well, all right. So, last thoughts here. Then. Yeah. So you don't necessarily love a horror. No. But this gross out type of humor or type of horror, whatever, this doesn't bother you.
It made me scream a couple of times.
So what is the kind of horror that you have no time of day for?
I don't care for the Saws. I don't care for what's the Eli Roth one?
Oh, Hostel?
Hostels.
So you don't like shock value horror.
And I don't like jump scare horrors.
Okay.
Like some of the new PG-13 shit that they're just I don't like the Paranormal Activities.
They're smart though.
The first one was very smart, but
I think the first 3 are smart.
But I don't like jump scares for the sake of jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
In new horror, and
do jump scares get you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's why you don't like them.
Oh yeah.
My wife doesn't like jump scares either.
Well,
she
to a
hates
point.
them.
To a point though, if it's unexpected, yeah, sure. But nowadays, it's all expected. Like they'll telegraph where the jump scare is going to happen immediately, and it's like, okay, that's where it was.
Yeah.
That's where it was. But I like the more cerebral. I like we talked about the creature features. I like the old school. I like anything that sort of pays homage to the back end. I like Nightmare. Nightmare's fun for its own sake of fun. I think anything that can build on a mythos.
Dude, because I love Halloween.
Yeah.
I love John Carpenter. Almost anything he's ever done. Pretty much everything he's ever done. But Nightmare on Elm Street is such a smart horror movie.
Right.
I mean, dude, you can't really poke holes in that first one.
Right.
And it's so well done.
Well, and you can see where Wes Craven takes the time and the energy to build this villain that is Freddy Krueger up the whole time. Now we're just talking about.
I love it. Hey, it's October. Everybody, right. Hopefully you're in the spooky mood.
So I like if you build this thing, you tell me why this big bad guy is supposed to be big bad guy without it being like a stretch or he's a bad guy for the sake of being a bad, like Mama, when we watched Mama, or what's the one with Ethan Hawke and he brings
Sinister.
Oh,
I love Sinister.
I think if they took the time to work on the backstory and to build the Sinister story up a little bit more, I think that would have been a little bit more on the button for me.
Also a comic book guy.
Yeah.
I praise Scott Derrickson because, dude, he, to me, is such a smart filmmaker. Okay. And he did Sinister. Mm-hmm. And I forget who he co-wrote it with. But anyway, he did Sinister. And to me, it's very smart. But you're right. The Mr. Boogie character, they could have spun it a little more in the vein of Freddy Krueger, and it would have made it for a better movie.
One of my favorite modern day, and I say this modern, but it came out fucking 20 years ago too. Yeah. Would be the Strangers, because that's cerebral as well, dude. And that took the time to like build the tension, build the scariness, build all of that up to a point where it will scare the absolute shit out of you.
Easily in the top 5 horror of the last 20 years.
I just don't think we get that anymore. I think we're into jump scares and tackiness for the sake, and not smart tackiness like not Sinister, but like.
Well, actually, and if you're okay with us kind of disclosing here, sure. Peek behind the curtain, we're recording on October 12th. Yeah. And Terrifier 3 literally just dropped yesterday in theaters. And so that's one for Terrifier. It kind of gained its notoriety because of the gore. Yeah. And I think that it found its place. And the stories are fine. Yeah. But really, the gore is where they found their audience. Let's do the gross out. And I have an appreciation for it because I don't love the Terrifier franchise as a whole. The Art the Clown character, dude, I love that they have a horror icon again. Yeah. So I didn't think it was possible. And they made it possible. But they're making it possible because of the gross out horror. And I don't mind it, but still it's only because you know that you're going to go in and Terrifier 3, if you go to see it in theaters, they have vomit bags.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's fun. You know?
Yeah, that's from...
You know that you're going to be grossed out, but, like, is the story worth the shit?
Right.
So, there's middle ground somewhere.
So, actually, just thinking about it, just thinking about modern day horror, I think that Devil, Late Night with the Devil or whatever it is.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. I absolutely liked that one.
I have one gripe about that movie. And it's that it's basically this kind of like found footage kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's because they have this behind the scenes footage of a TV show.
Yeah.
Like this late night, you know, a la David Letterman.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, they have footage of him behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Right. They didn't explain.
If it had just been the camera's off, you're on commercial,
mm-hmm.
and you hear him talking to, you know, the production crew or whatever, it would make sense.
Yeah.
But the fact that you go behind the curtain,
yeah,
you go behind the scenes, and it's like, eh. But other than that, dude, I thought it was a really smart movie.
I think what they tried to do was to make a horror Larry Sanders show, but they didn't explain that it's supposed to be in the vein of the Larry Sanders show, because
you're right.
That was supposed to, like, they told you what it was. Like, this is, yes, it's a peek behind the curtain, but mm-hmm. this is why you're peeking behind the curtain. And I don't think that they did enough to but it goes to modern horror. Like, I think it was well done enough, except for those falling graces. I'd give that one a 7. Maybe a 6.5, 6.8.
I might go 7.5.
Okay.
Because I thought it was really smart.
Yeah.
Well done. The production design was unreal.
Yeah, and so...
and I love that they're still making horror like that. So...
I just signed up for Shudder. I'm not... funny enough, like, me not being the horror guy, I have Shudder, but I bought the AMC package.
So did I.
So that I could get
totally
Sundance and IFC.
Yep.
And so Shudder's a part of that.
You gotta watch Creepshow, man.
I already downloaded the first 2 seasons way back when.
Creepshow's good.
But I'm definitely going to get into season 3.
Yeah.
But there's another one that kind of interested me, which is totally not in my really wheelhouse, is that new Nicolas Cage.
Nick Cage. Oh, Long Legs?
No, not Long Legs. Autonautica, Sauna Nautica. It's brand new.
Okay.
And the trailer is what got me. And
all right.
And so it's these people having to deal with like some sort of monster attack. It's almost like the Quiet Place, right? Yeah. But the people were fed up with the Quiet Place fucking monsters, and they're like, well, we're gonna fight back now.
Yeah.
And so that's what got me, and I'm like, okay, all right, like Monster Hunter, I'm fucking tired of having to live in the Quiet Place world.
It makes sense, dude.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done with the Quiet Place.
Yeah.
But dude, I love this little rabbit hole we went down about horror. And I appreciate your insight, because as much as we talk, you just gave me more perspective on your thoughts about horror.
Yeah.
But anyway, dude, hey, thank you for bringing Slither. I had no idea.
I said, I wanted to surprise you with my pick. And I think it's really funny that we pick little fun, little nod movies.
Dude, I'm really excited for the next episode we have.
Oh, I'm super excited for the next episode we have. Yeah. So you can find us on socials, everywhere you get a podcast. Check our YouTube, our Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us everywhere, please. And then just interact with us. Who do you want as a guest, maybe? Just tell us if you want to be a guest.
Yeah.
Tell us about your favorite horror movies, because it's spooky season. Do you agree with us about Slither? When was the last time you saw Slither?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Slither?
We have sort of a short list of guests that we have, but you know, if you're interested and you want to sit in and, you know, talk with us about movies, we would love to do the same. So,
and you can bring a horror. It doesn't have to be for spooky season.
Literally anything you want to talk about. If there's a movie that resonated with you or a movie that really sucked and you just want to talk about it, let's talk about it. So, we're all in. But hey, Uncle Do, appreciate it, bud. Thank you very much for bringing Slither.
Talking horror movies with you.
Me too. And we'll see you guys next time. I guess to close out our spooky Halloween season, we're bringing Monster Squad.
Ooh.
I am very excited. So
happy Halloween, everybody. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.